What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Manny here once again. Welcome back to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineups for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I proceed with the video, like always, guys, I really truly would appreciate a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe down below and do not forget to turn on those notifications. This way you do not miss any of my daily uploads. Today is Sunday, April the 8th, 2018. We have a 3-game slate for the evening today. I did not do the early morning part of the slate, so I'm only focusing on the last 3 games. I'm not going to give you a stud 5 today, but I figured I'll still do a video and just give you a couple of guys that I am looking at in today's slate. It's a very small slate, so pretty much everybody's up for grabs. There's going to be a lot of chalk players, but that's the nature of the beast here. We only got 3 games, and that's going to usually happen. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go over a couple of plays. Other than that, last night, good night. Made some money. Had a lot of 300 scores in NBA. Definitely made some money last night in the NBA. I definitely even made some money in Major League Baseball yesterday as well. If you want to check on any of that, that's on my Instagram account. So obviously the link to that or the information to that is in my bio. You just basically go to @DFS Zone on Instagram. You'll be able to find the DFS Zone's Instagram account, and there I usually just post up any winnings. Sometimes I forget, but I did post up last night's winnings there. So anyway, anything really big I'll definitely share here automatically, because I definitely want my audience to see that it is very much possible to have some success at on daily fantasy sports. So yesterday, to recap, I gave you guys a stud 5 because it was a pretty good stud 5 yesterday, and they all turned out to be fantastic plays. I hope some of you guys did play some of these guys, because they definitely all did very well yesterday. I had given you yesterday Bledsoe, Mr. Drew Holiday, Alan Crabb, Mr. Aldridge, and Mr. O'Quinn of the Knicks, and they all went completely, they did everything they had to do. They got busy. Bledsoe put up 45.6 fantasy points yesterday. He had 7 field goals, 3 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, 2 3-pointers, and he made 6 free throws. He was just, he did everything that he needed to do to help Milwaukee win that game over New York, which was an important game, like I had mentioned in yesterday's video. Milwaukee needs to continue to win. Holiday, same thing with New Orleans. They're in winning situation mode only right now. Drew Holiday, he was my favorite play. Like I said yesterday, he ended up having a great game. 54 fantasy points. He put up 10 field goals, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, 4 steals. He had 1 3-pointer, which is a little surprising. The key thing also, he had 4 free throws, and he only had 1 turnover for a person who put up 54 and only turned over the ball 1 time. That is fantastic, folks. Fantastic. A great game by Drew. Like I said, he has not let me down that much this year. Only 1 time I could recall, and it was a couple weeks back, which I had him as a stud 5. He let me down, but he usually comes through for me. He's one of my best plays, one of my best players, period, in the shooting guard position on a daily basis. So moving on, Alan Crabb, awesome game as well. Alan Crabb put up 31.4 fantasy points. He actually exceeded value by a few points. 7 field goals, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 big 3-pointers. He had a great game as well. LaMarcus Aldridge, 49.1 fantasy points. As I told you guys, San Antonio, that was a must game for them as well. They pulled that one out. He had 13 field goals, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 steals. Awesome game by LaMarcus Aldridge. And then Kyle O'Quinn. I mean, I don't know what the Knicks are going to do right now. Like I told you guys before, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm from New York. Kyle O'Quinn has been just fabulous since Cantor has been sitting down with this back issue. So I don't know. They got themselves 2 decent, fairly young centers for next year. So they got a nice combination there with maybe O'Quinn or Cantor starting and the other one coming off the bench. So great game by O'Quinn. He's been on fire. 52.7 fantasy points, 6 field goals, 16 big rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, 1 3-pointer, and most importantly also for a 52-7 score, 1 turnover by a big man. 1 turnover. That is very, very important in fantasy sports. You only lost 1 point off him, so you would have had 53.7. Awesome game by Kyle O'Quinn. So that's the recap from yesterday's stud 5. you know what I want to obviously definitely want to go over the games of today. There's only 3 games on the slate today, like I mentioned before. There's not going to be a stud 5, but I want to share with you some plays, some guys that I'm thinking of playing here. Obviously, there's 2 games here. One game, there's only one true game going on here today that matters most, and that's going to be competitive, and that's the Utah, LA Lakers game. Okay. Now, as we see here, there is a game time decision on Rubio as well as Ball and as well as Kuzma. So if you're playing these guys today, like I am, I'm going to definitely be playing in this slate. It's just a matter of which one of these guys is going to play and which one is not. If none of them play, obviously that opens the doors to other guys getting more value as well as more time on the floor. So you got to definitely consider that. But this is only the true game here because with only a few games left in the season, Utah right now only have a half-game lead on the Pelicans as well as San Antonio and OKC. So they don't want to relinquish that 4th spot that they have right now because that's a home court series for them for the first round if they stay there. So they definitely going to play hard. Not only that, Utah is one of the best defensive teams. I think they only average giving up only 100 points a game. So they are going to be very, very tough, even though they did have a long they had a little bit of a shootout with the LA Lakers the last time they played. I mean, I'm going to go here to my cruncher and let's just pop in here. Let's just click on Rubio for a moment. And the last time they played the Lakers was actually about a week ago. And Rubio, as you can see, put up 48, but that was a 117-110 game. So I mean, I don't see that happening today. I think today is going to be definitely a little bit more tight-knit game. Even though they are playing in LA, as you guys know, I praise LA Lakers. They're a really gritty young team. They're fast-paced. They love to ball, and the coaches, they really are building a nice nucleus over there. I really like the Jazz. I like the way they play defense. I like that team chemistry they have. The Utah Jazz are going to be someone to watch out for in the playoffs. Just mark my words on that. They're going to be definitely tough. If they want to definitely do something great, they're going to have to definitely go out there today, go to LA, and really slow down these Lakers and pull out this win. So this is going to be the game of the day, obviously, and this is the best one of these 3 games that are going on later on to be definitely looking to get some key players from. The other 2 games, man, these games here, Orlando, Toronto, and Golden State at Phoenix, these are like blowout situations already in the makings. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of guys that are going to be probably not playing. Like Phoenix is probably going to be playing with a lot of just guys from the bench today because there's a possibility that Josh Jackson is not going to play and Marquise Chris. If they neither one of those 2 play, then that means Alex Lynn is going to get more run, okay, as well as Mr. Ulis, as well as some other guys deeper down here like Dragan Bender, right? Daniel House is going to get more time, and then you're going to see guys like Mr. Harrison get more playing time. It's going to just go down the road here. Alec Peters is going to get some run. So you got some value there with the Phoenix game at home, but Golden State, I mean, unless Golden State decides to sit Durant and maybe Clay or Green or one of the 3 or 2 of the 3, then I would say, hey, you know what, you could definitely look at this game as probably a little more competitive. But I see a blowout here for sure, and I see definitely a blowout here, Orlando, Toronto. So let's just dive in. Let me just share with you a couple guys that I shrink down the pool. There were 64 players for this entire slate. As you can see, my pool is only 40 players I'm looking at, and at the present time, I mean, I'm not going to say more or less who is my favorite. There are some guys here that I think are going to be in the best situation. I'm just going to just wanted to share with you guys what my pool looked like. So I have Lowry at point guard, Rubio, Ulis, Cook, Van Fleet, Wright, Ennis, Augustin, and Exum. Now, Kyle Lowry, best situation out of all the guys here. He hasn't hit value in 4 straight games, but he has done fairly okay with Orlando. Last time he played Orlando was back last month on March the 20th. It was a 93-86 win. He played 36 minutes. His usage rate was good, pretty much almost 28%. He did take a sufficient shot, 17 from the floor and 13 from the arc. So that's a lot of shots. He put up 25 points. He had 8 assists and 5 rebounds. He did a little bit of everything. He did turn over the ball 4 times. I think Kyle is, out of all the guys here, is the best play. The only thing here with this is that, man, you really are taking the risk that if Toronto starts blowing these guys away, Kyle Lowry is not going to be out there for long. So I mean, my strategy for today, guys, is basically don't worry so much about the studs. I would say focus on one or two good stud plays, and then the rest of the lineup today comprised of these guys that are filling in for other people who are hurt, like in the Phoenix game and so on and so forth. So I would say here, Kyle Lowry is in play. Ricky Rubio, chances are he's going to be in play, but the problem with Ricky Rubio is he has that hamstring issue. And I don't, you shouldn't play around with hamstrings. He tweaked it the other night. He didn't play a long time. As you can see here, his last game only 8 minutes, and they pulled him out. And if he's not 100%, me personally, I would say, hey, you know what? You're not playing today. We'll get it done with Exum and some of the other guys that we have. And that's going to open up. Now, let's say, for instance, if there is no, let me go to that game. If there is no Ricky Rubio, you're definitely focusing on Dante Exum. And he actually played well the last time he played. When he came in the other night, he played fairly well. 24 minutes, he put up 10 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks. He did a little bit of everything. He put up 28 fantasy points, more than 1 point per minute on the floor. So I'm happy with that. And his price is only $4,100 for today. So I'm looking forward to not seeing my boy Ricky Rubio, which I definitely love, not play, so that opens up the door to grab a guy like Dante. All right. Other than Dante, if there's no Rubio, you could definitely focus on Mr. Royce O'Neal getting some more time on the floor and more touches, and it goes all the way down the list. I think with this group is mostly Dante, okay, and Mr. O'Neal. I would target those two. Definitely Ricky Rubio's outside. It's just some little strategic moves, just some thought there, guys. Entirely is up to you. It's my opinion, but I'm here really just to be frank with you and just tell you, hey, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at there with the Utah-LA game. The Orlando-Toronto game, as you can see, no injuries here. The only problem here, again, like I said before, is just that possibility of a possible blowout. Okay, the Golden State Phoenix game, as far as point guards, we know there's no Steph Curry. Ulis is getting a lot of time with Phoenix. He's going to continue to do that. He's doing very well too. Quinn Cook has been fantastic for Golden State, filling in for Curry, so he's definitely in play. So right there, you got at least two decent point guards that you can definitely actually pair up in this slate if you wanted to. All right. We go to shooting guard. Let me go back over here. My shooting guard list, obviously I got Mitchell, DeRozan, Thompson, Pope, Hart, House, Harrison, Young, and Reed. Okay? So Donovan Mitchell is the best play out of everybody here. He has played a 37 spot and a 32 spot against the Lakers in his 2 previous games. His last game was just less than a week ago. That was a game where he played 35 minutes. He had 29%, pretty much a rounding off 30% usage rate. He took up 21 shots, excellent. He was a little under 50%, 4 of 8, 50% on the nose from the 3-point range. He was 50% from free throw, which is definitely disappointing. I mean, he had four attempts, he only hit 2, but he had 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He did have a steal, 26 points total. I mean, it's a nice game, and we know the Lakers, are not very good defending the point. As you can see here, well, it says here they're 13th, but as far as fantasy points and against shooting guard, fantasy points wise, the Lakers are 25th and 25th both on fantasy points and fantasy points per minute, so they're in the bottom tier of the entire league when it comes to fantasy points. So I would say Mitchell is definitely a good play today. DeMar DeRozan versus Orlando. We know Orlando is pretty pitiful there as well. Orlando is 18th and 20th overall against shooting guards with fantasy points and fantasy points per minute. And as you can see, it says here they're 14th overall in the league, which is pretty respectable. But there's no Fournier, in that lineup for Orlando. So defensively, I think those numbers are definitely a little off there. But he's had his last game put up a 36 spot. Prior to that, he's had really a dreadful time. 6 out of his last 7 games, he has not hit value against Orlando. Last time out he didn't play. The previous time before that was February 28th. He played 34 minutes, 25% usage rate, took up 13 shots, only put up a 32 spot, was definitely undervalued by about 5 or 6 points. So he's had his issues with Orlando, but I mean, Orlando is, they have tanked it. The season is over for them, Again, DeMar DeRozan, you guys know, is in play. Donovan Mitchell, they're in play. The only problem here with DeMar DeRozan is that this game is not competitive game for them. You know, this is a game that more than likely is going to be a blowout, and then you're going to see DeMar DeRozan not on the court for so long. So if I'm going to go with anybody, I'm going to go with the game that means something, and this is LA is going to keep fighting. So I think this is going to be a more competitive game. You go with the more competitive game, and you try to target those players. That's at least the strategy you should use as far as getting 2 or 3 key players, maybe even 4 out of this game, and then building your lineups around the teams that are definitely struggling and using reserves, guys off the bench, and giving them more time on the court. Klay Thompson in play. Phoenix 30th. They're the worst team defending against shooting guards, and they also are pretty pitiful as far as with the shooting guard in fantasy points and fantasy points per minute, both also at 30. So they're the worst in every category there at shooting guard. Klay Thompson should have an easy time here. He has not hit value in 2 straight games. He is playing sufficient minutes. Against Phoenix, the last time out, he was a little above value. That was back just actually a few days ago, a week ago. The 117-107 win. He played 32 minutes. He had a 29% usage rate. Took 19 shots, hit 10, and took 5 shots from the 3-point line and got 2. Total 23 points. Same thing, no different. I think he's good for it. You see, 67. You got to get 30, about 34. You know, 35. Excuse me, about 36, 37. He can definitely do that. It's just. My thing with this game is just not that Klay cannot get those numbers. The problem here is that Phoenix is so dreadful. If they can't stay close enough, you know, I don't see where Klay is going to get a lot of minutes here. That's the only concern here. Caldwell Pope is probably the best play here overall, other than Mitchell, because they're playing against each other in that competitive game with LA and Utah. So I definitely would target Mr. Pope here. He did not hit value in his last game, but he has hit value in 2 out of his last 3. And let's see what he's done the last time against Utah, which was only less than a week ago. He put up a 40 spot. Very good game. He played a ton of minutes, 40 minutes. Usage rate was okay. He had 14 shots from the floor, 9 from the arc, and 8 from the free throw line. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. He had 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. He did have 5 personal fouls, so he was definitely in foul trouble. But I like Pope today. I think one of the best plays today, other than Mitchell. Okay, Josh Hart, definitely in play today as well. 5, 3, 4, 6 out of his last 8, his value. Utah, his last game out, of course, last week as well. He put up a 28 spot. That was above value. So in 35 minutes of play, he's going to get about the same amount of time. Young kids, they're still trying to build a team here. Mr. Walton's looking to see what he got here for the remainder of the year and going into next year. Josh Hart is pretty much a part of that as well. So I say the long as Ball is not playing, Hart is definitely in play. All right. Daniel House, he's probably going to be the one who's going to get the most, the most action today against Golden State. As you can see, his last game out, a little dreadful one, but definitely a dud in 34 minutes. That was a big loss to New Orleans. He only put up 18 fantasy points, but he had a 25, 33, and 19 prior to that. And as you can see, decent on the shots, 11, 9, and 9. Let's see what he did with Golden State. He definitely had a nice game against Golden State. Very much cheap the last time. $3,600 was his cost. He's 43 now. About what, $700 more. And last time against Golden State was just basically a week ago. A loss of 117-107. He played 34 minutes. He had 11 shots, 6 of 11 from the field, 1 of 5 from the 3-point range, and 3 of 3 from the free throw line. He had 6 total rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. He did a little bit of everything. So Daniel House is definitely in play, with Golden State being one of the weaker playoff teams dealing with the shooting guard. Who we got here? Mr. Harrison may get some time today. As you can see, his last time out, he did play 29 minutes, so I see him getting some minutes as well today. Golden State, last time against Golden State, only played 14 minutes, and he had a 14 spot, so that's a point a minute. That is not too bad. He's in play for that value of 4,000. Why not? You need about 16, 17. He definitely is in play. Nick Young, definitely in play, especially if there's no Klay Thompson, if they decide to rest him. So you got to be aware of that. Or if they don't give Klay a lot of time, definitely Nick is in play. Golden State at Phoenix. Phoenix is 20th overall. He had a 17 spot the last time he played, which was back on basically just yesterday. He played 20 minutes yesterday, so not bad. He may get that a little bit today as well. 15 spot the last time against Phoenix, but he did have a 33 and 25 when Clay was out back on March the 17th and February the 12th. All right, so yeah, so those are the guys I'm looking at. Davon Reed is definitely a good play here for Phoenix. He's probably going to get, if again, like I said before, if there is no Josh Jackson, then there goes the uptake. Guys like Davon Reed is going to get some time. Alex Lynn is going to get more time, more touches. You know, so and of course Mr. House and Mr. Eulis. That's the only way they're going to be able to play today against Golden State is by utilizing these guys. So, and let's see, against Golden State the last time, he didn't play the last time, but he definitely is in play today simply because he had played 19 minutes just 2 days ago. And again, like I said before, when that was when Josh went down. So if Josh does not play, which I would say if he is hurting that bad with the hip or whatever, let him sit. You know, so just watch out for these things. You got plenty of time. You got an hour before lock time. If there's room in any tourney, GPP or cash game, that you can lock in a Davon Reed. So he's in play as well. Going into a small forward, you got Durant, Josh Jackson who's injured, Engels, Herzonia, O'Neal, Uwandu, and CJ Miles. Those are the ones I'm looking at. There's obviously more players there in the small forward position, but these are the best play. Durant is the best play of the day, of course, and Josh Jackson, if he plays, chances are he's probably not going to play. Then I would definitely look at Engels because he's in that LA game again, the competitive game, and I would look at Royce O'Neal. Okay, and then in the Orlando-Toronto game, definitely Mario Hezonja. Hezonja has been playing well and he's been getting a lot of minutes. 22 points in his last game was a little bit of a dud, but he had a 40 and a 32 spot prior to that at 34 and 35 minutes respectively. He's been taking good enough shots. Okay, his usage rate has been okay the last 2 games, and then the last time he played Toronto, he did play 18 minutes and 19 minutes this year in 2 games against Toronto. So he's going to definitely have more minutes now because this was back on March 20th, and Orlando's just looking to wrap up the year. And with no Hezonja and a number of other guys, hurt, I'd say he's definitely in play for you guys today. So just remember at small forward, Hezonja, yeah, there's Jonathan Simmons is the other one that's hurt. You may get some time. Jamel Artis is going to probably play a little bit too. Man, he played 32, 33, 31, and 32 minutes, man. So definitely he should be one of the guys you should be looking at as well. I didn't put him here. Let me just go back. Mr. Jamel Artis, click on that. Go back to my pool. He's in there now. And there goes Mr. Artis. He's projected to have about 11 fantasy points today. He's in play, guys. He's in play definitely, all right? And that's pretty much it. I mean, other than Hezonja, Mr. Artis, O'Neal, and Engels, those are the top 4 right there. Plain and simple. Top 4 plays right there at small forward in this slate. Okay, guys? Other than if you want a stud, you pay up for Durant. The only thing is, the concern there is that, Mr. Durant might not play for a long time, especially if they get really, really ahead of Phoenix. So the only thing you can hope for is that game being a little respectable, and then Durant will get, his usual 30 to 35 minutes or so. All right? Okay, guys, so that's basically there with the small forward. Power forward, Draymond Green in play, Julius Randle, Kuzma is a little banged up. Chances are Kuzma is not going to play today, so that means Randle is going to get some more time on the floor and keep banging away, and then you're going to find that there will be some other guys off the bench that are going to get a little bit of time. So Draymond Green in play, the best play obviously out of all the guys here. I like obviously Julius Randle because of the game being a more competitive game. They're playing Utah. Utah's tough defensively, as you can see, #1 against power forwards. But let's see, he hasn't hit value in 6 straight games. Pretty close, but not quite there. And against Utah, yeah, he's had 2 games where he just did not hit the value. As you can see, the red here, 34 and 17. But he got 35 minutes the last time he played him a week ago, and that was a loss, 117-110 loss of a little bit of a shootout. He definitely had a decent game. I mean, he had 12 rebounds, 9 assists. His big problem he had was he turned over the ball. He did have 4 personal fouls, but overall, a respectable game. Julius Randle, definitely in play, guys. One of my favorite plays today at power forward, other than Draymond Green. Again, remember, Draymond Green, the concern is the blowout. Okay, Derek Favors in play as well. LA, he's been close to value in most of his games, the last 4 or 5 games. I look at that mostly depending on when he last played LA. He played LA back just slightly a week ago. He put 26-60, all right, 29 minutes. 7-11 from the field. He has 8 total rebounds. Didn't have no assists. But his job is to rebound and to put balls back in the basket, under the board. So that's his specialty. Derek Favors in play, as well as Julius Randle, the best 2 plays there simply because of the game, the competitive game. Serge Ibaka definitely in play. Orlando is 5th overall, but Ibaka's been playing really nicely the last 5 or 6 games. 26 through 32 minutes, so he's averaging between 26 and about 28, 29 minutes per game. And he's getting some shots off, man. He's getting 13, 13, 14 in his last 3 games in a row. So he's getting a little bit of action. And then his last game against Orlando, he put up a 25, right pretty much at value. And that was back on March 20th. 27 minutes, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point range. I like Ibaka here. I like Ibaka as well in this Orlando game. I don't think, I think the Golden State game is more of a brawl than this game. But this game, if it gets a little out of hand, I can see where Ibaka will get time on the court, but not so much so Lowry and DeRozan. All right. Marquise Chris, he's more than likely out today. So I'm not on him today. And if he is out, definitely you have now some value with Peters and Bender for Phoenix. So definitely focus on these 2 guys. Dragan Bender, last 3 games has hit value. Prior to that, against Golden State, he hit a 25 spot just a week ago. All right, 35 minutes of play, 5 of 9, 4 of 6 from 3. So he's going to get an uptick today, especially if there's no Chris. He's definitely a nice play today at 4,300. Real cheap for today. So Dragan Bender, definitely consider him. Mr. Looney as well for Golden State. If it gets a little out of hand, Looney's going to get more time, and Draymond Green is going to be able to sit more. So be on the lookout for that. He did play 27 minutes just yesterday, and he put a 20 spot. Let's see if he's had any games against Phoenix. He did have last week. Yep, he played 24 minutes as well. So yeah, he's getting time, and he may even get the same amount of minutes again today, even though he played yesterday in the back-to-back. Then I can see where Draymond, if this game gets a little out of hand, Mr. Green will sit a little bit, and Mr. Looney will get a little bit more time. Another interesting play today as a cheap play, really budget play, 3,500. Alec Peters. All right. Last game he only played 11 minutes, but again, like I said, if Marquise Chris is out, I can expect Bender to get a little bit more time, and he's going to get some time as well. How much more, I do not know. He got 11 on the previous game, but I think that he'll get a little bit more. I think that's a good value play other than Bender today if there's no Marquise Chris. So be aware, stay on top of the news, and if that happens, I'll definitely say focus on Bender and possibly Looney as your value plays, and then don't sleep on Mr. Peters getting some time here. But the best overall plays of the day obviously is Julius Randle and Derek Favors and Ibaka. I think those are the best 3. And then if there's no Chris, put your attention to Bender or Peters or Looney. Okay, center position, a couple guys banged up. I don't see Vukovic playing today. Gobert and Valanciunas will play. How much time Valanciunas will play, his situation. I think that out of all the guys here, the best play is Mr. Lin. He's going to have to play, especially with no Marquise Chris. There's no Chandler. He's a young guy. I don't see the reason why not. So we'll go to center. As you can see, I've rounded down only to 6 guys here. And these guys are down here more so just in case there ain't much floor time for Valanciunas and for Brook Lopez. But Brook Lopez is, he's playing well right now, and this is an important game for at least LA. They're playing at home, and they want to beat up on a team that's in front of them and show they basically want to keep winning. I mean, and that's they're not folding down. They're not just saying, hey, let's just tank the rest of the season now. They've been playing like if they're still trying to get to the playoffs. So Brook Lopez definitely in play. My favorite play today, obviously, I like Brook Lopez and I like Alex Lynn. Those are the 2 that I'm focusing on. Valanciunas is in a good game. Orlando is in trouble here. But the problem here is that he doesn't get a whole lot of time. 19 and 19 minutes in his 2 previous games against Orlando. All right, granted, they won both of those games. This was a little closer. But 26 and 18 total. And overall, over his last few games, here you go. Look at this. 21, 13, 22, 20. I don't know. Are they saving him for the playoffs? This has been his whole scenario all year long. So I like Valanciunas. I think if he's on the court more, he can help Toronto more. But for whatever reason, they don't play this guy now, as often. It's not like he gets into serious foul trouble either. 2-2, 0-1-2. I mean, the last time he was in serious foul trouble was 2 games back to back, and that was back in the ending of last month. So I don't understand. But whatever the system works, because Toronto is the best team in the East, as far as record wise. So the coach knows what he's doing. So I mean, we can't judge him on there. But Valanciunas, it'll be great. It'll be better for us fantasy players if we knew more or less what his time is. But me knowing this already, and of course those of you who have been following the NBA all year long, we know that Valanciunas is going to only play 20 to 25 minutes. So it's either you believe he's going to just go off in those 20-25 minutes and put up 40-50 for you, or he's just going to give you 25 or 30 minutes and just give you this, just 25 to 30 fantasy points. So because of that situation, I am not on Valanciunas. All right, I'd rather go with Gobert in this game here. Is probably the best center. He's battling against Randall. He's battling against Brooks. He's going to be in it. This is the game. This is the guy that you definitely want to focus. He didn't hit value in his last game, but he had a 48 spot prior to that, and he's had his little troubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of his last 6 games he has not hit value. But against the Lakers previously a week ago, he put up a 48 spot. All right, and he played 36 minutes. So if he gets these minutes, the minutes have been good the last 2 games against LA, and let's see minutes in general, 27 in the last game, put up a 40 spot, but he had 36, 32, 28, 39. If he gets 28 to 35 minutes, he'll be fine here. He'll definitely be able to put up that 45 for you that you need in this game. Okay, he needs 45 to 47, somewhere around that range. He can get there if he gets the 30 minutes to 35 minutes. So Rudy Gobert is the best play here today. He's the most expensive, but he's the best play here. Other than that, I would definitely focus on Brook Lopez in that competitive game against Utah. He hasn't hit value in 5-6 straight games, but he's getting decent minutes, 27, 25, 26, 22, 24. All right, he is getting some shots, okay, which are important. And unfortunately, Utah is just tough with everybody. So he didn't quite make value in his last 2 games in Utah, but I still like him here today at 5,700. You need 26, 27 for Brook Lopez to make value, and I think he's capable of doing that. Alex Len is definitely a better value play at 4,600. He's going to get an uptick, especially if Chris is out. He played 18 minutes in the last game, only put up 11 fantasy points, but prior to that he had 32, and prior to that 2 games before that he had 27. As you can see, if he gets 25, 27, 28, or 30 somewhat minutes, he's going to get you 34, and he's capable of going up to 42. So me personally, I think this is the day that he'll get that kind of time. He'll get that time, and let's see how he did against Golden State. The last time he played Golden State, back March 17th. It's been a while, almost a month ago. He only played 16 minutes. That would mean to me, looking at this, dating back to that, the chances are Mr. Tyson Chandler was playing that game as well. So they split the time. But right now, he's the main center. He's the guy who's starting, and he's getting more of the minutes. So for that, I would say he's definitely in play today. But Yumbo is in play as well, so don't forget about him. Against Toronto, he has 2 straight value games, and he has had 2 straight value games against Toronto. He's getting 16 to 17 minutes. This is fantastic. 16 minutes, 22 fantasy points. 17 minutes, 29 fantasy points. You cannot go wrong with that. So Biyombo is in play here as well. He's only 4,000. So you need 16. You need about 20 from him. All right. So it's not bad. You can get that. Zubac. 1, 2, 4 out of his last 5. He played 21 minutes back just 2 days ago, 28 prior to that. So Zubac and Brook Lopez have been getting it. So if you didn't want to go with Brook Lopez, you can go with Zubac. 3,900. Zubac is in play. But out of all the guys here, I would say, guys, stick with Rudy if you could pay up for him. I think in this slate here, 3 games, I could see myself getting Rudy in there. All right, and I can see myself throwing in there a few lineups, Mr. Lin. But then again, if you wanted to go with a couple of studs and go cheaper at center, then you got Zubac and you got Biyombo and Lin. With probably Lin being my favorite. So you got a couple of guys there. So these are the 5 or 6 I'm looking at there. These are the power forwards I'm looking at. This has definitely been reduced already. I already could see in my face, out of the top of my head, I know already that I'm going down to about 3 or 4 here. Small forward, same thing. I see a couple value plays. Remember what I said about O'Neal, okay? And definitely Artis here with Hazonia. But I think the play here is obviously Engels or even Durant if you're willing to pay up. But again, just be aware of the possible blowout. But I think Royce O'Neal is a good play here. Shooting guard. These are the guys I've been looking at. I can see myself only down to about 3 or 4 here. I think the key ones obviously is Mitchell in the competitive game. I would say Mr. Pope definitely in the same competitive game. Mr. Hart, and then House and Davon Reed. Watch out for those Phoenix guys because if there is no Jackson and there's no Chris, then those guys are gonna definitely get some playing time. Point guard, Lowry is probably the best play, but there's that blowout situation. So then I will focus on Quinn Cook, Tyler Ulis, and and Dante Exum as a cheap play, as a value play. I say him, maybe even DJ Augustin will probably come off, or Tyler Ennis. You got any one of these guys here. Not probably on Wright today, but then again, if Lowry in this game becomes a blowout, that's where Van Fleet and Wright are going to get a lot more time. So this is a little tricky slate, guys. It's a really tricky slate. But this is why I'm not going to give you a stud 5. There's only 3 games here. I would say focus your attention on the Utah-LA Lakers game because it's the most competitive game. It's the one that's of value to Utah. Whereas Golden State and Orlando and Toronto, these guys in Phoenix, Phoenix and Orlando are definitely out of it. Toronto's already locked in, so they don't even have to play their studs. And Golden State pretty much don't have to play all their studs either. So that's the whole thing right now with those games slated for 6 o'clock and 9 p.m. respectively. It is tough. So I would say focus on these guys here and then throw in a couple value plays from these 2 games. That's what I would say. That's my honest opinion on how you should strategize and get these your lineups done today. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it, man. I wanted to just get something out to you guys because I wanted to stay active with the NBA. We only got a couple of games left, a couple of days left. Like I said before and I announced almost a week ago, this Thursday will be my first day. I'm going to end up with the NBA season ending on Wednesday. Wednesday will be the last day that I'll do either a stud 5 or anything pertaining to NBA. Starting Thursday, I'm going to focus my attention to MLB. I've been playing MLB. I finished in like 20-something place yesterday in another small tournament, GPP. I'm doing great with that, and I've been winning a few days in a row in NBA after a couple of poor days. But that's it. I'm just going to focus on MLB. MLB is a lot more tricky. There's a lot more variables involved in deciding on lineups and pitching and so on and so forth. You got to look at a lot of research and a lot of data. At least that's the way I do it, more so than the NBA. So it definitely takes more time. But I'm going to have that out for you guys starting on Thursday, and then hopefully within a few days after that, I will be having out an opportunity for you guys to be able to take my pool play cheat sheet. I'm going to have that available to you guys. It's only going to be a few bucks for each day. You can do. I'm probably going to have a plan where you can do it weekly, but I would recommend everybody to just try it out, see if it helps you out, and they'll break down to at least the final like 15 or 20 players that I'm looking at the slate, but the pool will be as high as 30 or 40 players, and you will have an idea of more or less how to mix and match, and I can always give you within that like a stud 5 available to you where you can build from there. So I mean, I'm working on some things to help out those who are subscribers and followers. Again, like the video, please. I appreciate it. Look for all that information. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And if you have any comments, anything you want to discuss, anything you want to see pertaining to MLB, I'll be more than happy to listen to it, man. Just comment down below or just hit me up on IG or Twitter, and all that information is available in the bio. And that's basically it, man. It's Sunday, 3 games. Everybody, good luck tonight. Hopefully everybody makes some money, and God bless, and we'll discuss and see each other tomorrow, right? Your boy Manny is out.